With only 2 races remaining in the 1UP Superstar Series regular season, 10 drivers have already made their claim to a playoff spot, while 5 more are still to be decided over the course of the next 2 weeks. It all begins right here at the famous Darlington Raceway for the running of the Southern 500. This 92-lap race is going to put every single one of our 42 drivers to the test tonight as they search for a crown jewel win to help boost them maybe into a shot at the championship. And alongside me to bring you all the action once again is James Ellison for tonight's race. And this is a real driver's racetrack, this one. It's going to take a lot of skill to manage a win here. Our drivers, this is going to be a race where veterans come out to shine, I feel, because they know this racetrack in and out.
Oh yeah, this is definitely going to be something to watch because we got a lot of drivers here who want to put some of these rough races in the past behind them. I know one person who certainly does want to do that. Well, actually, 2, but this is going to be fun to, like I said, it's going to be fun to watch.
Absolutely, and these guys are going to have their work cut out for them. 92 laps of racing with a pit stop thrown in for good measure. This is going to put the drivers and the teams to the ultimate test. As we can now look at the starting lineup for today's 92-lap affair at Darlington, Devin Fair gets pole position. He came close to victory last time out of Boston. Is this the night for him? Roberto Crown Jr. lines up alongside him, followed by Bobo Jones, who's got a very slim outsider's chance of making the playoffs, but he's got to win the last 2 races if he's going to have a shot at it. Nick Ortiz and Anderson Reed complete the top 5. But there's a lot of big names looking to lock themselves in tonight. You got Dylan Young starting in 11th. Devin Fair himself starts on pole. He has an outside chance of locking it in tonight. Sam Donato, Nick Ortiz, they all want to lock themselves into the playoffs, but in the end, it'll only be a couple of them that manage defeat.
Yeah, it's a real tough challenge. You gotta be able to withstand the pressure, and no matter the outcome, be proud of yourself if you put effort into it. Even if you just miss out when it comes time, if you did everything you needed to do, then you really shouldn't be hanging your head.
Yep, and for 42 drivers, this is their opportunity to get the Southern 500 under their belt. So with that being said, we have all 42 cars on the grid ready to go, and we are ready to bring you the action. It is the 1UP Superstar Series, the Southern 500 at Darlington, and the green flag is mere moments away from falling on the field once again. With the field rolling through turns 3 and 4, the pace car is already on pit road. Devin Fair and Roberto Crown Jr. getting ready to get the Southern 500 underway. Heading into the restart zone now, it is Fair and Crown on the front row. The green flag is in the air. We're underway for 92 laps, and it looks like Fair gets a good shot off the line. He's going to lead him into turn 1. Let's see if Crown can duck into that hole between the 51 and the 7.
It doesn't look like he's going to be able to. Bobo Jones there, he didn't get quite the start that Fair did, but no, he's not able to stick beside Crown, but I don't think he's going to care as long as he can stay up there.
So as they run right now, Devin Fair leads. Then it's side-by-side, several rows deep between several cars. They're 3 wide further back here. It's Mashburn pulls ahead of Anderson Reed and Lane Sanders in the 87. They all sorted out amongst themselves, and we continue racing once again. But that was a very bold move for the 72 to make around both those cars, but good thing it paid off. We would have had a big accident if it didn't.
Yeah, and Maz is always doing really good. He always tries his hardest, and he always tries to make something out of whatever he can. And it certainly pays off on some races, and perhaps it could do the same here tonight.
Looking now at Ben McDonnell, who started this race in 6th position. He's already gained 2 spots off the start in the first 3 laps, but it's Devin Fair who leads the way right now by a good margin over Roberto Crown Jr. in 2nd. Fair, of course, has that 1 win. It came at Montreal last year. He's still looking for his first oval win, and this is a very good start for the driver of the 51.
Yeah, no better place to get your first oval win than the Lady in Black. You know, Darlington is known to make people's nights and careers. It's also known to break a lot of hearts, but that's the beauty of this track because you never know what you're going to get. As we see, it looks like a bit of a freight train behind him.
First side-by-side battle is this one for 8th spot between Jeffrey Finguy and Anderson Reed in the 5. Looks like Reed is going to try and fight this one back on the top of the racetrack. Finguy, I feel though, is going to send it off in the turn 1, and he should be able to clear the Menards Toyota pretty easily.
Yeah, Reed's not really getting the best start that he'd like, but honestly, I think it's a little early for him to be trying to push too hard, but at the same time, you don't want to fall too far back and take a chance of not being able to get back up front. Meanwhile, speaking of up front, Fair still holding on to a good lead.
Yeah, that is true, and he's got about a half-second advantage now as Bobo Jones continues to go after the 81 for second. Nick Ortiz gets around the 72 and manages to pick up the 5th position. As they run right now, this 91 would lock himself into the postseason if he can finish in that position or better. But there's still plenty of time left to race in this one. We still have a lot of laps to go, so it's not over for the 91 just yet, as the 5 gets back around the 92, move himself back up into 8th.
And like I said, you don't want to fall back too far, and if you can get back past the person who just passed you, that shows that you got just as good a car as them. Meanwhile, speaking of good cars, looks like Crowns is coming to life.
Yep, and here he comes now, powering down the inside towards Devin Fair. Looking further back now, you see a battle again for the 5th position between Mashburn and Ortiz. Looks like the 91's going to win out here because Mashburn's trapped behind the 7. But you can see Crown's gotten that gap down by about half. He's closing in on the 51. Let's see, because the last few races we've seen here, the pole sitter has not led much of the race after the first 10. Let's see if that trend continues.
Yeah, well, that's certainly good. I like watching to see if trends can continue or not, and it's always great to see. Well, the good trends continue. We don't want to see the bad ones continue, obviously, and we know Fair's got a bad trend that he wants to get rid of, and that's the season he's had.
While it's not been a terrible season for Devin Fair, it's certainly been below his expectations for this year. Going through a bit of a sophomore slump at the moment. He's currently outside the playoff picture, but could very well race his way into it tonight with a run like this. As we look back now, Lane Sanders gets around Nick Ortiz, as does Jeffrey Finguy, pushes the 91 back to 8th. Sanders and Finguy each move up a spot to 6th and 7th. I would say this is the highest running Dodge in the race, were it not for Bobo Jones running in 3rd. But this 87's been on an absolute roll as of late. He locked himself into the playoffs last week with a good run at Boston. He's had several top 10s in a row, and there's no reason for that to not continue here with a run like this.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who want to have great runs, and I know Lane is certainly one of them. And Crown, well, he'd love to have another great run here today, and maybe add another win to his career list.
Yeah, he's already got the one at Denver, but he's looking to pick up another one here at Darlington for sure. Now, Crown trying to get underneath the 51 for the race lead off of turn 4. This is going to be close between these two. Side by side to the line. Fair leads that lap, but let's see if Crown can hold on and push for the lead going into turn 1.
Looks like he's going to, and I noticed while we were talking about some other things going on, like Crown trying to get by Fair here. Well, originally I was trying to catch him. Bobo Jones got passed by the 12 and then passed him right back sometime in the last couple of laps, but now they're all starting to cluster together. This is getting interesting already.
Here comes the 7 to the outside of Roberto Crown Jr. for 2nd spot. He's going to try and follow the 51's tire tracks for this race, as now Jones has the preferred line on the outside, and he's going to swoop around the 81, move himself up into 2nd place. Now let's see what the 7 car can do. It has been a very long time, over 3 years, since Bobo Jones has been the victory lane. He would love nothing more than to get that big win and move himself closer to an outsider's hope of the championship.
Yeah, outsider's hope, but, if you don't hold on to hope for a chance and don't keep fighting, well, some people would feel like there's no point in even trying, but Bobo certainly is putting some effort in it today. Maybe he can get a good result out of it.
I'm sure he's impressing his team owner for next year, Ben McDonald, who's running 2 spots behind the 7 as they run right now. But so far, Devin Fair has led every lap so far, all 13, now 14 of them. And let's see what the gap is between he and the 7 at the line. 0.6 of a second. That's the biggest it's been all day. Here comes Lane Sanders to the inside of Mashburn. This is for a spot in the top 5.
And it looked like, for a minute there, it looked like Mashburn was going to try to go the outside of McDonald, but, well, he did have his hands full of Sanders, but then guy's about to be occupying Lane's time if he can get there.
And I have a feeling this 92's got a very fast race car. He started in 9th. He's already up to 7th. Here comes Ben McDonald to the inside of Roberto Crown Jr. That's for 3rd spot. McDonald noses ahead into turn 1, but he's got to clear if he's going to have any chance, and it looks like he will clear off of turn 2. Give the spot to the 12. However, he's not quite moved up in front of the 81 yet. Now he does.
Yeah, McDonald, no. I think you and I both agree that the last few races have been a mixed bag for him, and he just wants to be able to keep focused, move forward, and get a great result. He would certainly love to win and make it an awesome result.
Yeah, he's had 2 DNFs in a row, has Ben McDonald, the last 2 races. And running 3rd right now, this is a great way to stop the bleeding for sure. As we've got a bit of another train forming from 4th through 7th, but they split up in turns 3 and 4. Mashburn going to try and move to the outside of Crown, trying to take the spot away, and he will do so. Move the 72 up to 4th.
Yeah, and Miles, like I said earlier, he's got the determination. He keeps going. If I recall correctly, he didn't give up at all until the very end in last year's championship battle, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yeah, he was in contention for that championship all the way up until the finale when Christian Vargas just got the better of him. But now Mashburn's making moves up towards the front. He's running in 4th. Roberto Crown Jr. is actually dropping several spots. He's fallen back to 7th, and he's at risk of losing that position to the 91. He does lose that position to Ortiz, and now Donato's all over his back bumper. Something might be amiss with this 81 car to cause him to keep losing spots like this.
Something could be amiss, or it could just be that it's not a long-run car, and we're starting to get into a bit of a lengthy run here for this race, but no, he's trying to fight back on Ortiz now. Maybe it was just a little bit of a slip-up and just trying to rebound.
There is Dylan Young displacing Anderson Reed from the top 10. Dylan's had a bit of a rough stretch of races as well. He's finished outside the top 20 in the last few races. A couple DNFs in there too. Oh, and we got one blowing up, and it's Jake McMillan in car number 21. He looks to be out of the race already on lap number 20. And so far, we're keeping tabs on him to see if he can make it back to the pit lane. But that is going to be a disappointing end of the day for a car who is already locked into the championship hunt, but he's not going to have much momentum heading towards Daytona.
Yeah, you want to have all the momentum you can, but in a situation like this, and you see he is officially out of the race, you can't really do much about it except move on and try to build back up the momentum that you lost from such a thing.
And remember, Jake McMillan, last time we were at Daytona for the 500, he won that race. So he's got something to look forward to, at least when we head back to the World Center of Racing next week. But it's going to be a big hole to dig himself out of. He is locked into the playoffs, but it's not going to be a great finish tonight. But his teammate, Ben McDonald, currently chasing down the 7 of Jones for 2nd. But all the while, Devin Fair continues to lead. The gap is closing a little bit, though.
Closing, and it might have something to do with the fact that, at least for up until just now, McDonald was hanging behind Jones, but he wants by that 7, and if he can get by that, I honestly think he could give Fair a bit of a challenge.
So far, so good, but he is losing time to the 51 as they run right now. But it's still plenty of time in this race. We're about, I would say, maybe 30 to 40% of the way through this fuel run. Although I'm sure they'd be wanting tires earlier than that. They probably want fresh tires right now, as a matter of fact. But there's still a lot of racing left before that pit stop opens up. McDonald now drops to 4th behind Miles Mashburn. And here comes the 87 round the outside.
Yeah, there we go. Like I've been talking about.
Oh, and we've got more issues to talk about. Brehan Stojanovic in the 98 his engine looks to have gone out, and Duke Ansack in the 83, he was just outside the playoff bubble. He's got a tire down on that machine.
Very unfortunate, and also another unfortunate thing for at least Bobo Jones is the fact that he just lost second place to Mashburn, who is definitely looking to add to the momentum from that seventh place finish in one of my trucks in the Truck Series race.
Yep, so he's doing all he can as Duke Anzac exits the pits, fresh set of tires in hand, and now he can make it to the end of this race if he wants to, although that would be a very big task to make that happen. We'll see what he does for the rest of the night. But now Mashburn closes to within a quarter of a second of the 51. This is the closest we've seen the lead be in the last few laps. The 72 is fast. Let's see if he can close the deal.
Well, he's there, so... And I don't know how far ahead of the leaders Duke is right now, but he could play a factor unless those fresh tires help.
No, oh, they absolutely will help. This is Darlington we're talking about. He will drive away from these guys very easily. But now, Mashburn side by side with the 51 for the race lead. Let's see if he can make it stick rounds 1 and 2. He cannot. So Fair holds on for the moment. It's going to be a matter of wait and see if the 72 can charge his way back up there again.
Yeah, and you talk about seeing. I see someone in the top 10 who started just a little way toward the back half of the I should say the fourth quarter of the top 20, if you want to call it that. Cody Goforth is in here now, and it looks like Ortiz has fallen out because of it.
Yeah, and Cody Goforth, I mean, you couldn't have asked for a more heartbreaking story last week at Boston than what befell Cody Goforth. He led 57 laps of that race, got crashed into coming to a late race yellow, and finished 25th as a result. That is not indicative of how that team performed that day, and he's proving it here with another strong top 10 performance as Mashburn closes in on the lead once again.
Yeah, that's there's a lot of strong runs going on here, and another charge for the lead, and Devin Fair, he's got to be saying, come on, man, leave me alone. Because, well, yes, you said his season hasn't been horrible. There have been a few times where it seems like he just felt like it had been, and right now, things are really going his way.
Yeah, so far so good anyway, but Mashburn has again loses time to the 51 out of the corner, so he'll have to regroup and do it again. But now he's brought the 7 and the 12 right along with him. So now we got a 4-car battle up front. And Jeffrey Finn guy in that 92 car has been making his way through traffic. He's now up into the top 5.
Yep, got by Sanders, and now looking at McDonald, who has slipped back from this, ain't much of a battle right now, but I wouldn't really say that things have calmed down either.
No, but Mashburn came really close to that outside wall off of 4, but he got a good run of momentum, and now he's making his way to the inside of the 51 for the race lead. Is he going to, again, he just doesn't have the momentum to make it stick on the bottom. Devin's got the great launcher off the top of the racetrack, and he continues to lead from Mashburn, and now Finn guy's gotten around McDonald as well.
Yeah, I honestly feel like this 92... We talk about having some cars that are not really long run cars, then some that are long run cars. Well, there's one right there, I believe, at the moment that 92, a Finn guy, but he's got McDonald trying to get his spot back.
Yeah, and McDonald's got the same problem Mashburn has. He just can't get the momentum going down around the bottom of the racetrack. You want to be up high in at least turns 1 and 2. But here comes the 7, trying to make a move on Mashburn for second. He's not too happy with Mashburn not being able to get around the 51. Let's see what the 7 can do with it. Off of turn 4 to complete lap 32. They're side by side for second, but Mashburn just held the spot at the line.
And Fair's got to be saying, come on, guys, keep fighting. Let me get away again. But unfortunately, that fight has ended, and now Mashburn might be able to gather it back up and try again, and couldn't help but notice back there that purple number 4 is creeping up toward the top 5 right now. Currently running right behind Sanders. Last I checked.
Yeah, he
actually going inside of him now.
He was 2.2 seconds off the lead. Now he's pretty much he's cut that gap in half. So Goforth moves up into the top 6 ahead of Lane Sanders. Jeffrey Finn guy continues to gain spots as well. He's gotten past McDonald. He's working on Bobo Jones right now. All the while, Miles Mashburn keeps gaining on the 51. Let's see if this attempt will be the one that sticks.
Well, we'll have to see. But honestly, Oh, he's going to the high side now. I think he learned, and he's got the momentum, and it looks like he's cleared the lead now. First new leader of the day.
That is Miles Mashburn, who started this race deeper in the field, perhaps, but he's found a way to make it work. He's up to the lead, past Devin Fair, who's now got a mirror full of Jeffrey Finguy in the 92. I have a feeling this 92 is one of the strongest cars here tonight. He's been able to make his way up from 9th, all the way up now to fight for 2nd. He's doing the exact same thing Mashburn did, going around the outside of the 51 to try and take 2nd spot away.
And I thought for a second that maybe Bubba Jones was gonna try to follow Finguy, but he wasn't quite close enough to keep that door open. But they've seen what Mashburn did, and now maybe just maybe they're gonna start trying to see if they can do that too, if they can't get by Fair any other way.
Yeah, and we're about halfway through a fuel run here at Darlington. So these tires, they're worn out, they're losing grip all the time. And while the track temperature is offering a little reprieve, as opposed to if this race was run during the daytime, still going to be tricky for these guys to find momentum to get around each other at this stage. I feel fresh tires are going to make a big difference later on in this race, especially once that pit stop cycle comes in, because Duke Anzac's been pumping in the fastest laps of the race so far, albeit he's a lap down now.
Oh, yeah, he's got work to do, and honestly, if he were to actually try the strategies, we see Finguy now trying to make a move on Mashburn, who may not have nearly as long, look like he's going to have nearly as long of a tenure in the lead as Fair, but he's got that high side momentum now though too, so who knows?
Yeah, Finguy had to back out of it. He drops a couple tenths behind. Now, Finguy's got to keep his wits about him. He's got to try and do what he did to Devin Fair earlier. Get to the top of the 72, get close enough. His strategy has got to be get close in on the 72, down the backstretch, get up to the top in 3 and 4, and swoop around just like he did with Devin Fair. That's going to be the way he gets around here, because Mashburn currently holds the fastest lap of the race. That's a bonus point going his way.
Yeah, that's what you want, is every point you can get. Doesn't matter if you're already locked in or not. You want to have as much going for you as you can, and right now, if Mashburn can hold on to the lead for long enough, he has an opportunity to maybe get more points. But Finguy dogging him right now, and if these two get to fighting, Fair might have something to say about it again.
Oh, I'm sure he will, because these three, I'm pretty sure, are the class of the field right now. They're running 1, 2, 3. They're running half a second ahead of Bobo Jones in 4th. And they're starting to stretch their legs out front. A Chevy, a Ford, and a Toyota battling for the lead with a Dodge running 4th. That's exactly what we want to see in the 1-Up Superstar Series. Here comes Finguy down to the inside. He's going to try this again going into turn 1. We'll see if it works this time around.
And survey says, he held it, but
yeah, but this is where the moment of truth comes in, and he does not hold it off a 2. So Mashburn holds the lead. Here comes Fair looking for a shot at the 92 again.
Yeah, he got himself gathered back together, and he's ready to go back up and go after it. Speaking of someone looking to go after it, Cody Goforth, he's just cracked into the top 5 right there.
Gets around Ben McDonald to move up into 5th place. Strong run for the Ford machine of Cody Goforth. He did not have the best qualifying run. He started 16th, so he's already gained 11 positions in this race. That's pretty good for a starting spot like that. But here comes Finguy. He's going to try and make a move onto the 72 again. I just don't know if it's going to work, because we've seen this move time and time again, and it's never worked yet.
Yeah, I think what Finguy's trying to do is see if maybe he can find a way to make Mashburn make a mistake, but I just don't see Miles doing that at this point, because he has the lead. He wants to keep it, even though he knows there's a pit stop coming. He does not want to give this up while he's not having to worry about pitting. Yeah,
Mashburn started 8th in this race, Finguy 9th. They've clawed their way through the rest of the top 10. They run 1-2 as they run right now. But you're right, pit stops, they're getting closer with every lap, and I have a feeling whoever gets in and out of the pits first or most efficiently will be your winner today, because this has all the makings of a long green run. And A caution at this point would be surprising considering how stretched out the field is at this point.
Yeah, you don't want to have to put up with that kind of thing. It's really hard to 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 think about when if you don't want to caution. I kind of lost my train of thought there. Sorry about that, but if you get a caution, you better hope it falls at the right time, like not in the middle of you making a pit stop or right as you're pulling into your pit.
Absolutely, that's bitten a lot of people before in this race. You see Lane Sanders dropping to a spot from Ben McDonald back to Dylan Young. Sanders hanging out right now in the 7th spot. Here comes Goforth around Bobo Jones, and Finn Guy's got a huge run on Miles Mashburn, but again, he's gonna try this bottom move. He's gotta be thinking it's gonna work one of these times.
Yeah, there's only so many times you can do the same thing before you have to try something new. I mean, look at what Mashburn did to get the lead from Fair. You just got to figure things out, and Finn Guy's gonna figure something new out at some point. I believe that.
Yep, and so right now we're about to take halfway in this race. We're gonna take it right now. Actually, we're halfway home here in Darlington. Miles Mashburn currently your leader. He's led for pretty much the last 15 laps, but Jeffrey Finguy is lurking back there, waiting for the right opportunity to make his move.
You know, just like what Miles was doing to Devin Fair back there, but I have a feeling that this is going to be it. Like you said, these three in the top 3 right now, at least at the moment, are the class of the field, but you got a very determined Goforth back there looking for some redemption. If he can get the right strategy, especially when pit stops come up, he might have something to say about these guys.
Yeah, so right now it looks as though, Finguy keeps trying that move on the bottom. He needs to get a run down this straightaway so he can make a run on the outside coming out of 4. That's how these two both got past Devin Fair to move up to 3rd. You see the 7 trying to do that to the 51 right now, but Bobo's got nothing for Devin at the moment. Let's see if... Yep, he's going to try to move down the inside. I feel like this move, it works on fresh tires, but not when they're worn out like this.
Yeah, it's real hard. The bottom doesn't really seem to like old tires, and that is proven by the fact that both McDonald and Goforth just passed Jones right there.
Yeah, so Bobo's fallen from 4th to 6th in the span of one straightaway, but Mashburn continues to lead. Finguy's 2nd. Looking now back to Bobo Jones. He's fallen back to 6th. Goforth making spreading the needle between the 7 and the 12. He's going to dive down the inside of McDonald. Nothing doing there, I'm sure.
Nah, but honestly, I think at this point it's just a matter of trying to find a line that works and hope that if you can't get past somebody, that you can keep someone else from getting by you.
And so far, that is working a treat, as McDonald now tries to look on the outside of Devin Fair, but Devin shuts the door on him. That forces McDonald to go down to the low groove to try and make an overtake there. But again, as we've discussed extensively tonight, it's just not easy to accomplish on the bottom, although McDonald's giving it a great effort on this inside line, but I think out of turn 2 he might lose the momentum, and there it is.
He hasn't ducked back in line, so if he doesn't do that soon, and it looks like he was, and Goforth's going to try to go to the outside, and right now, McDonald's just stuck between two Revolution teammates at this point, so he's trying everything he can to move past them.
Absolutely. He's doing his best with 40 laps to go to try and make something happen in this race. Pit stops are fast approaching, closing in on the pit window now, and I for one, am very curious to see which of the leaders is going to be the first one to duck in.
Well, it's hard to say, but whoever it is, I'm sure there's going to be a few who will either follow or try something different and see see what happens. And looking now, there's a new number and a new name in the top 10 right now. I see J.D. Martin there. He started 18th, and now he's cracked the top 10 in 9th.
Couple guys back here we should keep our eye on. Benjamin Snyder making his Superstar Series debut. He's running at the back. Mark Davey, bit of a surprise to see running this far back in this 01 machine. And Eric Monaco, this is not where the 86 needs to be running, considering he is He's on the playoff bubble right now. He is at very high risk of falling out of it right now.
Yeah, you don't need a bad run like this. The car is staying clean, but what good does that get you if you're not able to make the playoffs? It's just one of those deals where you have to try to figure out something. Maybe they'll figure out a little something on these pit stops. And figuring things out, it looks like Finn guy might have finally been reminded of what he did to get by Fair after Mashburn did the same thing.
But it doesn't look like he's got the momentum this time around. But he's definitely got the right idea, as Fair continues to lose positions. He's lost third to McDonald. He's lost fourth to Bobo Jones. This 51's in all sort of rough shape. He might need the pit soon to get the advantage of fresh tires early.
Yeah, because honestly, the next person to get by him is going to be his own teammate, and who knows who else back there. I'm pretty sure I saw Sanders not far behind would go for it. So, here we go. Finally figuring it out.
And to the lead goes Jeffrey Thin Guy. Round Miles Mashburn around the outside, and the 92 takes over the lead for the first time on lap 56. You see Cody Goforth's also gotten around Devin Fair now. That 51 struggling a bit on those tires. He's got to be thinking about pitting, especially now that he's seen the lead change hands.
Yeah, you got to get to a point where you got to figure out: are you going to be the person who triggers the pit cycle, or are you going to try to take a risk of your tires getting so worn that one of them goes flat on you while you wait for someone else to duck in?
And it looks like Devin Fair's taken our advice, and he is on pit road right now. There he is, Devin Fair, first of the leaders to pit. He brings Patrick Smith with him. Nick Ortiz comes in as well, Jared Polanski. But Devin Fair, the only one of the top 10 to pit on this lap. But I can imagine a lot of them are going to be coming this time. And here comes Finn Guy and Mashburn.
And it looks like maybe the whole rest of the top 10 is coming in now. Yep, here they all come, right in a row.
Yep, and I don't think anybody's going to think about staying out at this point. Everybody's in the pits. Duke Ansak's going to stay out, though, on that alternate strategy. Let's see what that gets him. But our focus now is on Jeffrey Finn Guy. He pulls into his pit. Mashburn pulls in right in front of him. Let's see what this does.
Yeah, you see, there we go. Right side's going on. You see Young and Denoto going behind them. And there's lefts for both Mashburn and Finn Guy. I think it's safe to say everybody's going to go for 4 tires here.
No doubt in my mind, absolutely. But now we're keeping an eye out to see where Devin Fair is in the 51. He came out of the pits a lap ago. And let's see where Devin is on the racetrack. There he is. He's coming into turn 1 right now. So let's see what this does for the running order. Devin Fair shoots around the outside. He's going to clear Sanders. He's going to probably clear McDonald at this rate. He might even get Mashburn too. He probably won't get to Finn Guy, but that's still a net gain for this 51 machine.
Yeah, and like you said, you took our advice, and he's now back up to second. But I'd say give the guys he just passed a little bit of time. He might have to fight them again.
And now here is your race leader, Duke Ansak. He had a flat tire around lap 25, and he's gonna try and make these tires last to the end. A bold strategy for this 83, but it's his only shot to make something happen. Right now, he's gotta hope that as soon as the leaders catch him, that a caution comes out, so they'll all need to come in. As it looks like J.D. Martin's got an issue. He's got damage on the pit lane.
That's unfortunate. He had just gotten into the top 10 not long before the pit cycle, and I don't know what happened, but he's got a buckled hood, so maybe he rear-ended somebody just enough to cause problems.
Looks like there's the culprit. Jason Parker in the 76 has his rear end all smashed in. Maybe the 76 was the one the 66 ran into. But now, Jeffrey Finn Guy, let's see what the gap is at the line between he and Ansak. He closes by 2.2 seconds on that one lap. This 83 is running on borrowed time right now. He is very slow. And look at the guys in the top 10. This benefits Patrick Smith, Jared Polanski, Daniel Bouchard. These are guys we didn't mention at all before the pit stops, but they pitted a lap early. Now they're running in the top 10.
Yeah, this is a big deal for them. They need this. Some of them need this kind of run. I mean, it's like Patrick Smith. We don't really talk about him all that much. most of the time, but this is going to be a great night for him if he can hang on to this top 10 spot.
Yep, and here's Roberto Crown Jr. He had a rough pit stop. He's now behind Jeff Bolton, and Cody Goforth had a bit of a slow time in the pits as well. He's behind the 59 and the 14, but Dylan Young had a bit of a slow stop. Bobo Jones, he was running top 10, and he's now battling for a spot in the top 15 right now. So tough stops for them, but a great opportunity for Daniel Bouchard, who gets past Lane Sanders, moves himself up into 9th spot as Anzac keeps getting bigger in Jeffrey Finguy's windshield.
Yeah, and Anzac knows that 92 is going to just zip right on by him as soon as it catches him. You see it right here, the closing rate especially between old and new tires. Oh, it's going to be no contest unless Duke tries something here, which doesn't look like he's going to really even bother.
Yeah, so there goes Finguy around the inside of the 83. That's where the inside pays off, when you have much fresher tires than the guy you're battling. So Finguy's through to the lead. Anzac falls back to 2nd spot. Benjamin Snyder is the next car up to be last, but he's got quite a ways to go to get there. So I think they're going to be pretty good to make it to the end without any further lap traffic. Here comes Fair around the inside of Anzac to move up to 2nd spot, and this 83 is probably going to be a moving chicane the rest of the night.
Yeah, and his hopes of getting a caution have been, at least for the time being, dashed. But no, the longer it takes for one, if it ever comes, the harder it's going to be for him to even keep a top 10 position.
I wonder if he's even going to be able to stay on the lead lap, because we still have about 28 laps to go in this race. There's still a lot of time for him to lose a lot more spots. He's down to 4th now. Patrick Smith making a move to get around the 83 as well. That's going to be close, but the 04 up into P4.
Yeah, and then you see a lot of different drivers just right in there, and RT's trying to get by him now, and Polanski, like I said earlier, guys that we weren't talking about before, now looking like they're going to try to move around the rolling chicane that is Duke Anzac. It was a bold strategy, but obviously it's not going to pay off dividends that he wanted.
No, he's already fallen back to the 8th position, and he's going to lose even more time. He needs a caution in the next few laps to even get himself in the conversation, because he's just going to lose more and more time the longer this race runs green. Although kudos to this car, Brandon Beal making his way up towards the top 10. Lane Sanders gets around Duke Anzac, Bouchard and Reed next up. We're keeping an eye on on the fall through the field of this 83 car, because this could be his championship hopes going away with it.
Yeah, it's just, he had to try something, and you and I both have talked about it. He had to try something, but there are times when wild strategies work, and other times where you just have to go up to the drawing board and chalk that one off as one of the things that didn't work.
And this is going to be critical for Duke Anzac, because he has made the playoffs every year since this series has began, and this could be his first time that he has missed the postseason in his career. That's going to be a tough pill to swallow if that ends up happening. But there's still Daytona to go, and anything can happen there.
And Daytona, always a wild card. Same with Talladega. You never know what you're going to have at either of those tracks sometimes, and Daytona's going to be Duke's only hope at this point. Meanwhile, up at the front, it looks like what was a good battle has stretched out a bit with that pit cycle.
Yeah, and you see, wow, this 83 is being passed left, right, and center, and he's holding up the 55 in doing so. Tough break for Chase Christ, who's finally having a clean day in that 55 car. But now Nick Ortiz trying to work on Patrick Smith for the 5th position. Smith trying to hang on, but Ortiz looks like he's going to get a run going into the first turn, and he backs out like we've seen all race long.
Yeah, some drivers are able to hold on to the inside of the person they're trying to pass, and at least until they get ready to come out of turn 2. But I don't think Ortiz just had the right amount of momentum to even attempt the proper pass there. But no, he's got a little bit of time to try again.
Yeah, but right now the gap is closing between Finguy and Fair. It was 1.2, now it's just 1 even. So Fair and Mashburn look like they're catching the 92 bit by bit. With 20 laps to go, we'll see if they have enough time to get there.
And who knows, maybe Ben McDonald will get in the conversation on this one, but it all depends on how hard of a fight Finguy puts up, if any of these guys can catch him.
Yeah, so Fair is doing a good job. Let's see what the gap is now at the line. Yeah, he gained another few tenths at that point. So Fair is definitely catching Finguy. The question is now, if he has enough laps once he catches the 92 to try and set up a pass. Because remember, it took so long for Mashburn to get past Fair, and then for Finguy to get past Mashburn as well.
Yeah, he's going to have to play it smart here. One would hope that after seeing how long it took somebody to pass him and then for that person to be passed, he would try the top side right away, because that was the move that worked once there was momentum to get by.
Yep, so, and you can see the gap's kind of stabilized now at 7 tenths, but you can see Fair is closing in. That much we know, but with 17 laps to go, it's gonna take a lot. Although he's gaining a lot, so Devin's made his
there.
Yeah, he's definitely there. This could be a move for the lead right here if he goes into one with enough momentum.
And you see Miles Mashburn also about just a little over half a second back. If these two get to fighting, oh boy, things have started to heat up again. Well, for second now with Fair falling back a bit.
Yeah, that was just due to him taking that inside line through 1 and 2. That's just now that these tires are fairly worn as well now. Now that that's happened, these guys are just struggling to keep their grip on the inside. You want to be right up against the wall here to try and gain as much speed as possible out of the turns. You want that for sure to generate runs down the straightaways. And you can see now that right now, when you looking back now for the rest of the field, Duke Anzac's fallen all the way back to 34th place, 37th now as a result of that. He is likely going to fall a lap down by the end of this race.
Well, one positive for him is you see there's 2 cars 5 laps down. He's not really gonna fall back any further unless something catastrophic happens. But still, he's just got to be right around there, wishing that things had played out better for him.
Yeah, you see there Benjamin Snyder getting past the 83. That moves him down to 38th. Jason Parker is several laps down, but he also moves past the 83, even with damage on his race car. That just goes to show you how much fresh tires matter here. And depending on where the leaders catch Anzac, this could be an opportunity for Fair and Mashburn and McDonald to maybe strike.
Yeah, that's the thing you got to watch out for, because you don't know, because we said he's a rolling chicane, and it has shown, so it depends on where Duke goes when they catch back up to him again, as Mashburn looking like he's trying to set up a run on Fair.
But nothing doing on that occasion. So, we're closing it. We've got about 15 to go now. The gap, half a second. Duke Anzac's looming large in the windshield for Jeffrey Finguy. They're going to lap him at some point, with these guys being a full 2 to 3 seconds a lap faster than Duke Anzac, because Duke's had those tires on for at least 50 laps now. So those tires are worn to shreds. These guys have had their tires on for about maybe 20 laps. They're a little better off. Here comes Mashburn to the inside of Fair. This is the fight for second.
Fight for second, that's probably going to go about the way it did when Mashburn was going after Fair for the lead earlier, and there we go.
So Fair holds on for the moment. You see this 83 keeps getting closer and closer to the 92. Let's see what Jeffrey does. He moves to the top of the racetrack, gives Duke the bottom. That's probably the best way to go about this, to keep getting as much time. Oh, but he gets stuck behind the 83 for a little bit. That could allow the 51 to make some gains.
And honestly, yeah, unfortunately for Fair, though, if he was going to go for the high side, Duke's kind of there. But he did gain on him from the 92 of Finguy being held up.
Yep, we're coming to 10 laps to go, and looks like Jason Parker is next up to be lapped. I don't think they're going to get to him in time. So It's a battle between 4 drivers in the mix for victory here at Darlington. Finguy, Fair, Mashburn, and McDonald's lurking back there. If these 3 have a moment, he could be ready to strike and take a big surprise of a win, honestly.
That'd be huge for them, but it's all a matter of who can get to Finguy, who can do something with him. And right now, Fair just lurking, trying to see if he can set up a good run. And, well, here he goes to the inside again, but it's probably not going to work.
And I'm sure Devin would really not want to finish second 2 weeks in a row. So he's doing whatever he can to try and get the lead. He's gotten to the inside. He's continuing to stay on the inside. This is a close fight, but I think that's where he loses his time, right on the exit of 2. And now Mashburn all over his back end.
Yeah, but he wasn't able to put the nose in there before Fair got up there. But he's peeking to the outside, but there he goes a little bit. He's there. So maybe Mashburn could do something with Finguy now that he's clear of Fair.
Yeah, let's see. Mashburn, it took him a while, but he's gotten past Fair and up into second place. Now the challenge is on for Miles Mashburn to try and get past Jeffrey Finguy to get this Southern 500 win. We've got less than 10 to go now, so all the stops have to be pulled out here.
And he really wants this win. It doesn't matter if I've talked about this before. It doesn't matter if you just won the week before or if it was 2 years ago. You want your next win as soon as you can get it, and Miles really wants this one. Well, we know Finguy wants it too.
Yep, and Mashburn's closing the gap a little bit. This could be very interesting, because if Mashburn gets to the outside of the 92, that could be game over. But I doubt Jeffrey Finguy's going to give him the opportunity. Finguy's been in this series for a long time. He knows exactly what to do in this situation. He's going to try and force the 72 to his inside. If he's going to try and if Mashburn's going to win this race, and he's making a move now, he's going to have to take it on the bottom, because Finguy's not going to give up the top.
Yeah, that's for sure, because these 3 that have been up here in the top 3 majority of this race, they all know, having either been the one passing or being passed by somebody on the high side, they know what's coming.
Here comes Fair now making a move under Mashburn for second. This could allow the 72 to get closer to Finguy. We now have 6 laps to go. So this is going to be an entertaining battle all the rest of the way. It's just a matter of who's going to win out over these final few laps. Parker up ahead, they're probably not going to catch him. So Mashburn is still clear of the 51, but he did lose a bit of time to Finguy as a result.
And that's the unfortunate thing about when you get to fighting with people around you while you're trying to catch up to the leader. You lose time, and you have to regain it. And I just noticed that Jared Polanski is up there in 5th place now.
Yep, and Patrick Smith's still hanging around in the top 10, so they gained a lot by pitting early. But we're coming to 4 laps to go this time, and Finguy is stretching his gap out. I think Mashburn and Fair might have used up their stuff trying to even get to the 92. Now it's just a cruise.
Yeah, then again, they could be rallying to try again, but
they're running out of laps.
They could also be getting ready to duke it out for second.
They might realize that second's the best they can hope for at this point, because Finguy's driving away from them. They might have burned it up trying to pass the 92. Now they're going to have the fight for second as we come to 3 laps to go.
Yeah, they're not really falling too far back, but at this point, I think it's just going to take something unfortunate for happening to Finguy. But yeah, they're not really gaining much of anything, but they're not really losing anything either.
Yeah, so Ben McDonald's hopes are pretty much dashed because Mashburn and Fair have decided to just hold station for now for the final 2.5 laps. But for Jeffrey Finguy, this is going to be a big win. It'll only be his 2nd win of the season, but it will give him a lot of momentum going into the playoffs, where he's expressed that his desire to win a championship. It's the one thing he hasn't done yet, and he very much is in position to do so as we're coming to the white flag this time.
Yeah, we just crossed the line for 2 to go. Yeah, Fair and Mashburn are slowly closing back in, but again, I have to reiterate, it is going to take some. I think it is going to take a massive, unfortunate event for Finn Guy for these two to have a hope.
Coming to the white flag right here, Jeffrey Finn guy out in front. One more lap to go from Darlington. Let's see if Mashburn has a last-ditch effort going into turn one. We've seen these crazy moves happen before. Let's see if Mashburn takes the initiative.
Yeah, I think he's just accepted that second is all it's going to be, and like I said earlier, it's definitely going to be. This is definitely going to be a better, an improvement, and riding that momentum wave that started in the truck race the other night.
So leading lap 92 is car 92. Jeffrey Finguy wins the Southern 500 at Darlington by a margin of 4/10. Guess it was his lucky number today. He gets the job done at Darlington. Miles Mashburn comes home second in this race. A great drive from him, despite all things considered. Devin Fair, I'm sure he wanted the win, but third puts him in a great position to make the playoffs. All he has to do now is start the race at Daytona, and he'll be locked in. Ben McDonald comes home fourth, a strong run, considering his last few races as of late. And Jared Polanski, you mentioned it, brings it home in the top five after an early pit stop. Nick Ortiz comes home sixth. He locks into the playoffs. Dylan Young makes the playoffs. As a rookie, he comes home in seventh for his first top 10 in a while. Lane Sanders eighth, ahead of both Monster Motorsports cars, putting it in the top 10. Bobo Jones and Patrick Smith just in front of Anderson Reed. Well, we've already said our piece about the drivers that have locked themselves in. Ortiz and Young have done it. Sam Donotto has done it. Devin Fair is in a hair's width away from making the playoffs. All he has to do is start the race at Daytona and for him to be locked in.
Yeah, and that's got to be a huge relief for him. But like I say, even bigger relief for Jeffrey Finguy. Congratulations to him, and looking forward to seeing what Daytona brings.
So, from James Ellison and from myself as well, we say goodbye from the track Too Tough to Tame. We'll see you again next week at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, for our regular season finale. 13 drivers have locked into the playoffs. One is one start away from starting. We'll see who gets that 15th and final spot when we head to the high banks of Daytona this time next week.